Taking a look around the state, sports betting might become legal in Georgia without the need to go to voters. A bill proposing a constitutional amendment was introduced in the state Senate. Senate Bill 415 would establish an app-based system allowing Georgians to bet on sports online. The legislation is modeled after laws in Tennessee and in New Hampshire, states that offer online sports betting only, because, like Georgia, they don't have brick-and-mortar casinos that typically house sports betting operations. Georgians are already betting $1.5 billion illegally on sports every year without the state collecting any tax revenue from it, according to State Senator Burt Jones of Jackson, the bill's chief sponsor. Supporters of legalizing gambling have been pushing for years to bring casinos to Georgia and betting on horse racing. Sports betting only became an option in 2018 when the U.S. Supreme Court overturned a federal law prohibiting states from legalizing gambling on sports. All efforts to legalize gambling in Georgia have failed because they have involved constitutional amendments that require 2/3 majorities in the Georgia House and the Senate, a level of support the measure's sponsors have been unable to muster. On the other hand, Jones's sporting bill would not change Georgia's constitution and thus would require simple majorities of the legislative chambers to pass. If passed, businesses which are licensed to offer sports betting online would pay a 10% tax on their adjusted gross incomes. The vast majority of the tax proceeds, some 95%, would go towards education, while the other 5% will be allocated to the State Department of Behavioral Health and Department of Disabilities. Bets would be able to be placed on, or would not be able to be placed on college games. The bill has referred to the State Senate Regulated Industries Committee. Well, the new test results that rolled out on Wednesday night showed that out of 36 drinking wells in Juliet, Georgia, all but about 6 had troubling levels of cancer-causing substance that has rallied residents in a small middle Georgia town. The bad news was delivered to families living near the coal-fed plant Shearer, which environmentalists say toxic ash byproduct of burning coal suspected to be affecting their well water has long been improperly stored. As more test results arrive, local environmentalists are watching legislation in both chambers of the Georgia General Assembly at curbing health and environmental dangers of coal ash. The issue became an environmental priority for many Georgia lawmakers as state regulators received control over permitting and monitoring sites where coal ash is stored. Lawmakers and environmentalists are especially worried about the potential effects of coal ash kept in liquid ponds at several Georgia power plants, many of which environmentalists say lack protective liners to protect underground contamination. Some bills before the State House and the State Senate call for installing liners in all Georgia power ash ponds and requiring the company to give advance notice when the ponds begin dewatering. Other bills seek to make the collection fee for coal ash in Georgia landfills the same as for other kinds of garbage. They say it would discourage out-of-state power companies from sending their ash to Georgia. A bill toughening the rules requiring Georgia Power to give advance notice that it will dewater ash ponds cleared the House committee on Thursday, though environmentalists note that dewatering has already begun at some other power plants. Another bill that would raise the fee for landfills to receive coal ash from $1 to $2.50 passed out of the State Senate committee earlier this month. But the big piece of legislation environmentalists are eyeing would force Georgia Power to install impervious lining around every site where coal ash is stored to keep contaminated water from leaching into the drinking wells and underground aquifers. Identical measures on liners are being carried in the House by Minority Leader Bob Trammell and in the State Senate by Jen Jordan. Well, an East Cobb County grandfather was just 100 yards away from home when he was hit by a speeding car and killed on Friday night. 61-year-old Rob Higginbotham, a local businessman, was turning left onto Powers Ferry Road from Johnson Ferry Road when his vehicle was hit by a white Mercedes sedan. According to Trammell's daughter, the impact was so violent it sent Higginbotham's car flying across the road. The 2 occupants of the other Mercedes sedan were taken to area hospitals when authorities arrived around 11:20 p.m. Cobb police have not released any details on the deadly crash, including the conditions or the other victims in the crash. The crash was reported hours after a deadly wreck on I-75 that killed a retired Atlanta Municipal Court judge. That's the news for now. I'm Charles Hoard for SCB TV News. Thank you so much for watching. God bless you. We'll see you next time.
Toyotathon is on at Jim Ellis Toyota of McDonough, home of the Jim Ellis Price Promise. And now is the best time to save on our entire new inventory, which includes lifetime oil changes and lifetime powertrain coverage. Plus, get certified pre-owned Toyotas from $12,991 and 0% APR financing available. Shop our store, online, or blend both to create your own custom shopping experience. Backed by the Jim Ellis Price Promise. Shop us today. Jim Ellis Automotive, where you can always expect the best.